Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late April, moving into early May 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Sagittarius collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Saggies in late April, moving into early May? It's Taurus season, lovely time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Saggy. Late April, early May. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick, hopefully. Yeah, ask and you shall receive. There we go. Cool. So this is definitely a forward-facing type of energy, which I usually like. Now, it might seem a little plain, the energy we're looking at with this card, but there's actually a real beauty to it as well. And before we fully dive into it, though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the April subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this lovely lady here in a blue dress. She is by the seaside, right? She's on the beach. A little bit of an overcast day, but there is sun peeking out. We got rainbows and we have these big objects in the sky, and she's facing the horizon. So to me, it always talks or in indicates somebody that's looking out towards the future, right? Like in life, sometimes we're looking at the past and reminiscing. Sometimes we're trying to live in the present. This one is planning ahead. So there could be some sort of strategy or planning, or you know what? I'm paying attention to this. This is where I'm going. Because these big objects in the sky, to me, they represent like little checkpoints or marks or goals that somebody is striving for. So again, for some Saggies, maybe that's a suggestion from spirit where it's like, hey, maybe set some goals or set some things to work towards. That's a good thing. Now, the downside to this energy, sometimes this can get a little bit stressed because it's looking too far into the future. You know, sometimes when you could stress about something that hasn't even happened yet, that this card can do that sometimes. So just watch out for that. Right? And it doesn't mean like don't be prepared, but there's just something here about like, hey, don't try not to put too much energetic intensity into something that hasn't even materialized yet. So we're just going to let her chill right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Saggy. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was centered around communication, and the reading was titled An Important Talk. So whether it was a conversation of importance that you wanted to have, someone else wanted to have, or needed to be had, there was this big vibe of like not sweeping something under the rug and addressing it. So just know that could show up over the next couple weeks as well. The energy can bleed over. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going here. 3 cards for Saggy. What do we have in late April, early May? Late April, early May. Okay. Energy is a little wound tight. Remember I was saying like stressing about something that hasn't even happened. Okay. And again, that doesn't have to be you. I know like a lot of Saggies are lighthearted individuals, right? Very good at rolling with the punches and going with the flow. But yeah, this 8 of Swords can sometimes be a little too in its mind, right? What we got? Cool. Temperance. Yeah, there's your power card. Chill, relax. Total opposite of what we have on the front. This could be a very reassuring type of energy we have there. Let's get one more. One more here. 5 of Wands. So big fire-air combination. Big energetic intensity, and that's something I've picked up for every single fire sign this week in particular, is that there is a strong energetic intensity around all fire signs. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know, I always like to go through the elements. I feel like that frames the reading and tells us how the energy could be flowing or how it's going to flow. And we have the classic combo, right? We got the fire and air. Now, for a beautiful fire sign like yourself, this is actually an energetic combination or elemental one. that you could work with, right? Like Sagis and fire signs in general are usually pretty good at going with the flow, rolling with the punches. If anything, you might like the intensity, is what I'm picking up. But there's a lot of things. Now, with the air right here in the front, that deals more with the logical, pragmatic mind, right? Air is about information, how we take it in, how we learn it, how we search for it. Strategy, planning, communication, conversation, all those things show up here with the air element. The downside to air could be a little flighty, right? It's an energy that could be a little avoidant. Air energy can also be cold and detached. And again, the overthinking, that's a big thing with the element in and of itself. And then boom, we have a double dose of fire on the back end with your power card and the Five of Wands. Now, especially in a Saggy reading, that's your comfort zone. That's your place of comfort. That's your power zone. And with fire, that's the realm of action. So whether it's the actions you take, the actions other people take, the actions that we want to take, um, energy levels, vitality, health, and wellness, all that is under the fire umbrella. The downside to fire is that sometimes it could be a little unpredictable. Sometimes it could be a little explosive and volatile. And there's just an unpredictability to it. And especially when you add the fire air combination, there's an explosive quality to all of it. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we got the Eight of Swords, right? Now we see this lady here. She is surrounded by the sword. She's bound up. She's blindfolded, hoodwinked, bamboozled, whatever we want to call it. And she does look trapped. Now, again, all challenge cards to me are on a spectrum. They could be something very minor, and at the same time, they could also be major. This is one of my bigger cards of anxiety. So, again, the overthinking, stress, anxiousness, very wound tight type of energy. So, for a lot of Sagittarius, you might just have a lot of intense energy within you that's like building up, building up, building up, up, up. So, we want to keep an eye on this as we move further. Again, the overthinking, of course. This could sometimes also represent when someone's feeling like cornered or trapped. So I'm not sure if you have cabin fever, if like day-to-day life, day-to-day routine might be driving you up a wall. That could be very possible here. You might need to switch things up because this energy could sometimes even represent boredom or just feeling trapped, right? And like when we have a trapped energy, it might want to spring forth. So we need to keep an eye on it, whether it is anxiety or is that cabin fever type of energy. We'll take a look at it. Now, the good thing about the Eight of Swords is that it is an energy that's not permanent. It moves quickly, right? Like the Eight of Swords is far from permanent. And if it is a problem, if it is a situation, it kind of resolves itself. And Eight of Swords can also be very liberating too. So we'll take a look at it. Now, moving to the middle, we have your power card right here, which actually makes me very happy. We have Temperance, beautiful. So again, in my simplistic style, when we clarify it, it could just tell us something that's coming towards you or a way you might be feeling. Nice. Now, Temperance always depicts the Archangel Michael on it, the defender. So to me, this is a huge card of spiritual protection, love and light, angelic type of energies show up heavily when we have, especially when we have Temperance. But you see what Michael's doing there. It's like he's doing some spiritual alchemy, right? Mixing those cups around. So that does dive into the deeper symbolism of the Temperance card. But on the surface level, it's a card of patience or resisting sometimes. Patience is like, okay, I'm just going to let that do what it does, or I'm not going to pressure it. I'm going to let it flow how it needs to flow. This could be like a hands off approach, or again, that patience level. Now, in the rough sense, sometimes Temperance could represent a lack of patience or getting frustrated. So, like when I see the Eight of Swords with Temperance, it's like, oh, is someone frustrating you? Is there a situation that's getting under your skin? Potentially. But yeah, he's also doing alchemy, and that could represent sometimes when things look like nothing is happening, but a lot is working energetically. So there could be various situations where, like on the surface, everything might seem the same, but energetically, everything is happening behind the scenes. Moving to the back end, we do have the Five of Wands. And I always say this is one of those cards you don't need to be an expert in tarot to understand it. We got five people that are beating the crap out of each other with sticks, right? Can you guess what it means? I'm sure you can. Now, it can, in the positive sense, this is a great card for determination. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit, I refuse to lose. Love it. Love the confidence, love the determination and push. That's a good thing. But the downside, it can represent anger. It can represent, again, headbutts, like little conflicts, people not seeing eye to eye. Sometimes where it feels like the universe is testing you, like it's one thing after another, after another, after another. Sometimes it could be a struggle. So we want to see what's up. I find it interesting though. It's like we have the wound tight energy, and then we have cool as a cucumber, and then boom, this energy again. So these could be separate things, separate people, right? But I want to dive deeper on all of it, Sagi. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Eight of Swords. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Sag, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Eight of Swords time. What do we got? Oh, okay. Yeah, this energy is just so wound tight. Okay, so we have the Death card in reverse. I don't want to say it's like somebody catastrophizing. I don't want to say that. The Death in Reverse card, it could be Scorpio energy. It is just very intense. So when I look at it and give it like a blanket statement, Eight of Swords with Death in Reverse, it's like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, like it's this odd energy where in the front we have like stressing about certain things that have happened. Then we have this energy that's stressing about something happening again, where it's like, oh, I've been through this before. Oh, can't do that again. Oh, don't want that to happen again. So it's stress by experience, if that makes sense. So again, I'm not saying it to you. You might be cool as a cucumber. This might be you right here in the center. But there could be somebody that's like, I don't want to say they're making a big thing out of something small, but it's like they're triggered in a way, or like the nervous system feels really wound up, where like maybe this person's been through a few things and certain things kind of kick them off. Like it's just like really amped up. Now, Death in Reverse can also represent things returning, things popping back up. So like when I see the Eight of Swords with Death in Reverse, it's like, okay, I'm just waiting on this thing to come back any minute now, any minute. So I don't know what this anticipation is. You see what I mean? So like I have the stressing about things in the future, then I have an anticipation of something happening, even if it's not. I still want to look and see what's going to happen as we move through, because I remember Temperance was, stuff that, working underneath the surface. But yeah, this energy is really wound tight, right? Because it's stressing about the future, it's stressing about things that have already happened, not wanting that to happen again. It's like one of those. It feels like I'm spiraling a little bit reading this. So again, don't get nervous about the Death card, especially with it in reverse. I always say it just represents change. On the smallest end of the spectrum, watch out for boredom, watch out for feeling stuck, watch out for feeling like nothing's changing or happening, right? Because the Eight of Swords with Death in reverse, it's like nothing's happening. Like everything's the same. I'm not seeing any progress here, which in and of itself can be frustrating. So we have a lot going on there. We're going to keep going though. Let's see what's up with Temperance. Very wound tight for some reason. So why is Temperance in the mix for Saggy? Good. Cool. I got something very similar in the Leo reading, where it's like, all right, well, even if things aren't ideal, I'm just going to do my best to focus on the positive, focus on the optimistic aspects. I think this is great. Listen, a lot of you, if you've been watching me a while, I'm a huge believer in the power of positive thought, power of positive thinking. Doesn't matter what the heck's going on around you, like your mindset, your perspective, how you view things, the lens at which you view it through is everything, especially in this material reality. So like when I see your power card with the 10 of Pentacles, absolutely this could be a huge win or victory or something going way better than expected. But to me, it feels more along the lines of somebody purposefully editing their thoughts, right? Where I have like this overthinking and this catastrophizing and these negative thoughts are coming in. Then I have Temperance with the 10 of Pentacles, where it's like, no, I will not let those negative thoughts win. I'm not going to fall into that spiral. I'm going to fight this. Everything is perfect. Everything is fine. And it always will be. Like there's this beautiful fighting the negativity that I'm picking up here. So again, for some of you, like Temperance with the 10 of Pentacles, that could just be a blanket win or victory coming your way. Wish fulfillment, big time, level up type of energy. But to me, it does have this counter effect to whatever this stress on the front is. It absolutely does. Where it's like, you know what? I'm going to flip that on its head. Nope. I'm going to change my perspective. I'm not going to catastrophize anything. I'm not going to say that's a problem. Everything is perfect. Everything's going great for me. So there's like this beautiful fighting of the negativity with perspective change. I love it. Absolutely love this center energy. Regardless of what it is, I love this. Let's go in on the Five of Wands. I'm so happy that showed up. Now, like in the Leo reading, I was seeing something funky on the front end, but then in the center, it was like an energy where it's like, oh, I'm not going to pay attention to that. No, I'm just going to ignore that. Hope it didn't happen. This is kind of different because it's reframing something. So maybe there is a situation or something that spirit might want you to try to reframe how you view it and how you perceive it. It's very possible to do, and it's very powerful as well. Let's go in on the Five of Wands. Let's see what the Five of Wands is. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. Okay. All right. So we have the Four of Pentacles. Now, when it comes to money, this is a good thing. So those of you watching this are like work, finance. Like when I see the Four of Pentacles, this is beautiful when it comes to money because I just love it for any of the material world stuff. However, when it comes to interpersonal relationships and connections and situations, that's where this energy could get a little dicey. But notice, like in the midst of these situations and whatever this noise is on the outside, we have Temperance with the Ten of Pentacles that has its inner peace, has its calmness, has its serene type of energy, which is something I really love about it. Because, like, just look at the total difference of the energy. I'm not sure if you could feel it the way I'm feeling it. But the Four of Pentacles, it could be holding on to something. So, again, like when it comes to money, that's good because you're stacking pentacles and it's great for finance. But when it comes to like anger, grudge, baggage, things that are left unresolved, when I see the Four of Pentacles, it's like, all right, that hasn't been resolved and I need to resolve it in some way. I can't just hold on to this. Like there's an energy that's holding on to something and it's like it refuses to let go of it. I don't know what it could be or who it is or why they're holding on to it, but it's like they refuse to let go. If anything, it does feel a little bit grudgy too. So watch out for that. But the big thing we're looking at is the overall picture, right? Because we got this situation, which I mean, that looks a little messy. Then we have this situation here, which is like super amped up and anxious, but this is so peaceful in the center. That's something I love. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we got the Eight of Swords with Death in reverse underneath it. I did say this felt like someone's like nervous system getting triggered here, or someone not wanting to do a repeat of something where it's like, oh, I've seen this before. I don't want that to happen again. It's one of those, and it was giving me like a spiral, especially with what we had in the front end about someone stressing about the future, and now we have someone stressing about the past. Watch out for like someone's thoughts spiraling. Um, Very anxious, nervous. Now, I said on the small case, it could just be like boredom or feeling like nothing's changing or shifting. So watch out for frustration with that. But in the center, we have Temperance with the Ten of Pentacles, one of the most powerful alignments I've seen in a long time, where it's like, it doesn't matter if this is happening. It doesn't matter if that's happening. It doesn't matter what reality shows me. I am fine. So there is something about reframing a situation, reframing a perspective, and viewing it through a different lens that is extremely, extremely powerful. And again, for some of you, this could just be a big winner victory coming in. Even though there's stuff going on around you, like there's still this slice of beauty in the center of it. On the back end, we have the Five of Wands with the Four of Pentacles. Great for money, lots of determination and push. To me, it just feels like a very motivated salesperson type of energy where it's like, yeah, I'm going to go get them today. But when it comes to personal relationships and stuff like that, it's somebody that has some unresolved situations, unresolved business, and they haven't fully worked through it. It does feel a little angry, upset, or mad. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I would say I like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get it going here. What do we got for Saggy in the shadows, please? Okay, cool. 10 of Wands. All right, so the 10 of Wands here does kind of fit the mold of this Five of Wands, where in its most positive sense, this is a card that could just be determined, keep pushing, not quitting, not stopping. I love it for that. But the Ten of Wands does have some shadows because it is quite a heavy card. So whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, the Ten of Wands, there's a burden there of some kind. So just watch out for that. Your energy levels, watch out. They might be a little lower than usual when we have this. And I always say, watch your physical health and wellness too with this card. The Ten of Wands in particular, I always connect to the physical vessel. So especially watch out for areas like the neck, back, and spine whenever this card shows up in the shadows. Now, There could also be another thing or a situation where spirit's like, hey, don't rush it. Don't rush it. It'll get there when it gets there, or it'll finish when it finishes. So I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. But this is heavy, so we're just going to let it chill right there, Saggy. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The April subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the April subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice winner's choice once again. At the end of the month, I will choose 3 lucky subscribers to either win their choice of the Gilded Tarot Royale or one of the custom-made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So winner's choice. And if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, you can let me know down in the comments, how much do you know about the meanings of tarot cards? Are you an expert reader? Are you a beginner, intermediate? Do you know a lot? Do you know a little? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my posts tab. YouTube changed it. And yeah, that's where it'll be, my friends. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon.